What if the little things you brushed off in your 40s, like acne, night sweats, or crazy mood swings during your period, were actually neon signs that your hormones were shifting? Studies show women spend an average of 4 years dismissing perimenopause symptoms before realizing what's actually going on. 4 years! That's 1,460 days of sleepless nights, sweating through your PJs, and snapping at your partner, your kids, even the dog, because you didn't know what you didn't know. And no one was talking about hormones. In today's episode, I'm peeling back the curtain on the 5 symptoms I ignored at age 40 that came back to bite me in perimenopause, and why you can't afford to. So, close those 47 tabs you have open after Googling what's happening to my body, and I'll be back to break it all down in less than 90 seconds. Welcome to Are You There, Midlife? It's me, Monica. Hi, I'm Monica Topetti, wife, mom, health coach, and hormone imbalance survivor. And I'm on a mission to help women in midlife balance hormones naturally without drugs, doctors, or divorce. Are you tired of dealing with heavy, painful periods that look like a crime scene? Are you sick of struggling with anxiety, fatigue, or brain fog that... What was I just saying? Are you frustrated doing all the things to lose weight but still packing on pounds faster than a real housewife changes Birkins? Girl, you are in the right place. Join me each week as I spill the tea on what to expect in perimenopause and beyond. From IBS to insomnia, bloating to funky body odor, I'll unpack all the weird stuff happening inside our midlife bodies, plus give you the latest science and holistic solutions to manage it all. So ditch the Spanx and hop on board the Hot Mess Express. Let's do this. Hey, beautiful. Welcome back to the show. Okay, so let's talk about the pink elephant in the room. The reason why you're really here today. If you're like most of my listeners, you've been feeling like something is off, maybe for a while now, and you're tired of trying to figure it out on your own. The good news? Number 1, you are in the right place, friend. And number 2, you are not alone. In fact, according to a survey in Lippincott journals, nearly 90% of perimenopausal women experience at least one hormone-related symptom that is so bad it's disrupting their daily lives. So, what do? Well, we blame stress. We blame aging. We blame everything except the one thing no one's talking about, hormones. I get it, because that was me. It started around age 40. I started to feel more anxious, more forgetful, and my skin was doing weird stuff. One doctor led to another, and before I knew it, I had a handful of prescriptions to fix each symptom, never ever realizing that there was one thing connecting them all. I chased my hormone symptoms for years, plural, until the issue I'd been ignoring all along spiraled so out of control, I thought I was having a heart attack. And that's exactly what inspired me to create this brand new series for fall, What I Wish I Knew at 40. Because if anyone, had sat me down 15 years ago and explained what was actually happening in my body, it would have saved me years of chasing symptoms so I could just focus on the real solution, balancing my hormones. So let's dive in, beginning with the first symptom I ignored at age 40, cystic acne. You know the kind, those deep, painful breakouts living rent-free under your skin, usually around your chin or jawline or mouth. When we first start to break out, we blame stress or that new foundation we bought on sale, or maybe going to bed one too many times with our makeup still on. Ugh. But when the cysts start to multiply or grow so deep we'd need a construction crew to excavate them, it's usually a red flag that something hormonal is going on. So what exactly is happening? If you've been listening to this podcast for any length of time, you probably know that beginning in perimenopause, our two main sex hormones, estrogen and progesterone, start to shift. But did you also know that our androgens, that's our male hormones, especially testosterone and DHEA, can remain elevated while everything else is in free fall? And it's this hormone imbalance that can trigger our oil glands to go into full-on overdrive, leading to deep-rooted inflammation and those hard-to-heal breakouts. Adding insult to injury is cortisol, our main stress hormone, which tends to spike faster and stay elevated longer in midlife. And that causes our skin to become inflamed from the inside out. Now, here's where most of us get stuck. When over-the-counter acne products just aren't cutting it, that's when we head to our dermatologist, who prescribes us a cream to dry out our skin, or something like spironolactone, a diuretic that's used off-label to block androgens. That's what my doctor put me on. And at the time, I thought it was a godsend. No more acne, no more making a car payment to Sephora just to cover the Mount Olympus on my chin. But what I didn't fully realize, or maybe I just chose to ignore, was the potential side effects of these drugs. Because while certain creams can make your skin more irritated, dry, or sensitive to sun exposure, especially prescription creams, spironolactone, which is what I was on, can cause dizziness, dehydration, and even elevated potassium, which is a condition so dangerous that I had to get regular blood tests to make sure that my levels of potassium were in normal range. But the real problem with these treatments is that they don't address why our skin is breaking out in the first place. Because when we suppress symptoms instead of solving them, we're ignoring the bigger hormonal storm brewing inside. Which leads me to the next symptom I ignored at age 40, heavy and irregular periods, as well as worsening PMS. If you're in your 40s and suddenly need to carry a backup pair of panties and a bottle of Midol in your purse, welcome to the club. For many of us, heavy or totally unpredictable periods are one of the first signs that our hormones are shifting. My periods were right as rain every 28 days, right up until about the age of 40. Then, out of nowhere, they started getting shorter and way, way heavier, with clotting that looked like a murder scene. When our cycles start to get shorter, skip a month, or show up like a pop quiz you didn't prepare for, it's another red flag that our body's hormone balance is changing. During perimenopause, our estrogen and progesterone start playing tug-of-war, and our cycle gets caught in the middle. Progesterone dips first, while estrogen can hang around a bit longer or even spike unpredictably from month to month. This imbalance can result in something called estrogen dominance, a condition that occurs when there's not enough progesterone to keep estrogen in check. The result? our uterine lining actually becomes thicker, which can lead to heavy bleeding, clotting, and worsening PMS cramps, breast tenderness, or migraines. Conventional medicine solution for out of control periods and worsening PMS symptoms 2 and 3 is either a prescription for a hormonal birth control pill or IUD to help regulate your cycle, or an ablative procedure, which literally burns the uterine lining to stop or slow bleeding. But here's what your doctor won't tell you about these options. Hormonal birth control basically puts your ovaries on hiatus, shutting down ovulation and disrupting your body's natural hormone production. So, when you eventually get off of it in your early 50s, usually between the age of 50 and 55, your body tends to go haywire. PMS can actually come back heavier, even if you're no longer getting a period, and it can take months or even years for your hormones to find their footing again. An ablation? Well, it can help with heavy bleeding for sure, but it can also cause chronic cyclic pelvic pain, as well as scarring and adhesions that can make it harder to diagnose endometrial cancer down the road. And neither of these treatments addresses underlying hormonal imbalances like estrogen dominance, which left unchecked can set the stage for fibroids, endometrial thickening, and even a higher risk of uterine or breast abnormalities later on. And speaking of hormones going rogue, I'll be right back with the last two symptoms I ignored at age 40 that came back to bite me in just a minute. But first, imagine waking up early, ready to start your day. No cold plunge or caffeine drip required. You open your closet and everything fits. Even that "when I lose the weight" little black dress. You power through your day focused, productive, and without a sleeve of Oreos in sight. This is what life looks like when your hormones are balanced. Before I became a hormone balance coach, I was exactly where you are. Tired, moody, and stuck in a body I didn't recognize. But once I learned how to balance my hormones naturally, everything changed. My mood leveled out, I started sleeping through the night, and my clothes felt like mine again. And now I help other women take back control of their body inside my Master Your Midlife Hormones program. This hormone balancing program is like no other, I promise you, because in just 9 weeks, I teach you how to reset, repair, and reboot your hormones naturally with a personalized, done-for-you plan that eliminates all the overwhelm and helps you feel like you again. Imagine no more confusing lab work, guesswork, or symptom chasing. Just a proven step-by-step plan customized to you. I am currently accepting applications for the fall of 2025 at bit.ly/fixmyhormones.now. When you apply, I'll personally review your hormone profile and symptoms, and if it looks like it's a good fit, we'll hop on a quick 20-minute chat to talk through how the program can help you achieve your specific goals. Spots for fall 2025 are limited, so head to bit.ly/fixmyhormones.now or click the link in the show notes and apply today. Because you don't have to push through another season of feeling stuck. You just need the right plan and a coach who gets it. And talk about someone who gets it. The next red flag I ignored didn't show up on my calendar. It showed up at 2 a.m. soaking my sheets. Symptom number 4 is night sweats. Back in my early 40s, I was a hot mess. literally. I remember waking up in the middle of the night in a puddle of sweat, sheets soaked, hair plastered to the back of my neck, wondering if I'd secretly run a marathon in my sleep. Like most women, I blamed the temperature in my bedroom or too many blankets the first couple of times. But if this starts happening night after night, you can be pretty sure it's your hormones trying to tell you something. So what's really happening underneath all that sweat? In perimenopause, when estrogen starts to drop and cortisol generally starts to rise, our body's thermostat loses its calibration. Then temperature regulation goes haywire. Blood vessels dilate to release heat, and boom, instant internal inferno. Add stress or poor sleep on top of that, and it's like pouring fuel on a bonfire. Night sweats aren't just annoying. They're a red flag that your cortisol and your estrogen are out of sync. And when these two hormones are battling it out, it doesn't just disrupt your sleep. It can mess with your brain. Which brings me to the last symptom I ignored at age 40, brain blips. If you've ever walked into a room and immediately forgotten why you were there, you know exactly how unsettling that can be. For me, it started with little things. Forgetting words mid-sentence, blanking on names I should know, or mixing up simple phrases like laundry detergent with dish soap. At first, I brushed it off as just stress. But when I started pausing mid-conversation because I couldn't recall basic words, I genuinely thought something was wrong. Like early onset dementia wrong. Estrogen is our brain's communication superstar. And when it starts to decline beginning in perimenopause, so do the neurotransmitters responsible for our focus, our memory, and our word recall. Add cortisol spikes from stress, and our brain's wiring gets even more scrambled. It's kind of like trying to send a text with one bar. Sometimes it goes through, sometimes it just spins. In reality, these midlife brain blips, not the scientific term, by the way, aren't so much a sign of cognitive decline, but simply a red flag that our hormones need more support. So there you go. 5 symptoms I ignored at age 40 that came back to bite me in perimenopause, and why you can't afford to. If any of these red flags hit a little too close to home, it might be time to stop guessing and start getting some real answers. My Master Your Midlife Hormones program was designed to help women just like you get to the root of what's really going on so you can finally feel like you again. You can apply now at bit.ly/fixmyhormonesnow or click the link in today's show notes. Then join me back here next week for the next episode in our fall series, When Anxiety is a Hormone Imbalance in Disguise. Until next time, wishing you health, happiness, and fewer hot flashes. Hey friend, can I call you friend? Because I already feel like we're friends in my head. Did this podcast teach you something, make you laugh, or feel less like an alien? If so, I would be so incredibly grateful if you could take just 60 seconds to rate, review, and subscribe. That is the #1 way you can thank me and support the show. Until next week, stay cool and keep away from sharp objects.